Hey, what's up guys? This is Halfway, broadcasting from around the world, Phnom Penh, Cambodia. I just want to continue the video that I was making yesterday, but I'm going to make it in like a more real way. So first let me talk about that actually. So I've been talking to you guys for a while about that I want to get like better hardware so I can use my GoPro a little bit better. And again, the computer that I got is still not like perfect. It's not like this like really modern computer, but it was like the cheapest one that I could get that could like do some stuff. But sometimes like fate kind of works itself out. So like I've been talking about, I've been wanting to get one, but I'm also trying to save as much money as I can. I have a wedding that I have to pay for, as well as just saving money for my life. So I'm always, trying to pinch pennies, whatever you want to call it. And so I haven't been wanting to buy a computer to do this because I'm trying to save as much money as I can. But then last week, my computer that I've been using for school actually died. So I had to get a new computer. I had no choices. I need one for work. So my choices were either just get, again, the cheapest computer, like my old one was, that, can just do like basic school stuff that I need it for, nothing, special. Then I decided to spend just a little extra money and get something that I can do a little bit more for the channel with. So again, it's something that if my computer didn't break and didn't die, I would not be able to make these videos that I'm making now. But it did break and it did die, so now I'm able to do that. So again, it's like in life, sometimes bad things happen, and just try to look at like as much of the positive as you can. Sometimes it's really hard or nearly impossible to see something positive about it, but oftentimes there's some small flicker of hope that we can look into and that we can distinguish as something that's positive and something that's good. And I have all these cats all around, so hey, if anybody wants any cats, let me know, because I would be loving to get rid of some of these. I was gonna start talking about cats. Anyway, so to continue the video from yesterday. So yesterday was like, it was just something fun and new that I had, and I really wanted to try that effect that I used on it, and I had a lot of fun with it. I also got really frustrated with it. Serena thought I was crazy for a little while because I was getting so mad. Because when I was making that, I had to do it in a different style than I normally would make a video. Like when I'm making a video now, I just come out here and I'm talking and I just say whatever I want. It doesn't matter. I don't have to have a script or anything. But with making that video, I had to make a script. I had to do it in a certain way for the video to make sense. And between my camera messing up, me messing up, like all kinds of things messing up, I had to make the video like a million times. I was getting so angry. But eventually I made it, and I think it came out okay. I think my acting was really bad in it. But that's something that if I continue to do something with that, then in time it'll just get better. But anyway, so to talk about the same topic that I was addressing yesterday in that video, but more in a real way, there are honestly like good things, really good things about living here, and things that are not as good. And I think it's beneficial for you guys to know that, to know the good and the bad. So just to touch on the same things from that video, and then I'll expand a little bit more on different topics. People always complain about how, Phnom Penh's so dirty, like when people first come here, or if I hear like tourists talking about it. And it's not that it's that dirty. Like I said in the video, there's garbage on the street. When you walk around, you're gonna see garbage on the street, but it's not like there's just garbage littered everywhere. It's in piles where the garbage trucks come around and collect it. Also, along with that theme of being dirty, it's very dusty here. The ground is, like, the dirt is just very loose, and a lot of times the wind blows and there's dirt flying around. But that's not because of the cleanliness of the country or the people. It's just the type of soil that's here. The ground becomes very arid when it's not in rainy season, and it just gets dry, and when the wind blows, it'll blow the dust around. So that's one thing, but bad thing. But to turn that around, the country is a very beautiful country. If you travel outside of Phnom Penh, like, the scenery is just beautiful. It's a lot of like flat ground, sometimes like lakes and rivers, and then all of a sudden you'll be driving and see this like huge like mountain, maybe not huge, but large mountain like cropping up out of the terrain. There'll be all this like flat terrain with like banana plants and all these exotic jungle type trees and stuff, and then all of a sudden this really big mountain, and that's very beautiful. And so the country is also very beautiful. The same that I talked about yesterday with the sidewalks. It's true, there's not a lot of room for sidewalks. Sidewalks aren't made for walking on per se. They're made to park motos and park cars and set up shops and businesses, and they're like used as a function other than walking. So that's true. Watching people navigate around on the sidewalk, people who aren't from here, I'll sit out on my balcony sometimes, and sometimes tourists come around me. I live near Tool Sling, and I'll see them like trying to like navigate through the through, like the cars and the motos. They don't know to just walk on the shoulder, because in a lot of Western countries or more developed areas, it's not normal to have to walk on the shoulder of the road. But it's funny to see them like trying to like squeeze between the motos and stuff. So you just have to kind of walk on the side of the road. But it's also true that not many people walk here. You don't see a lot of people just walking around. Motos are very cheap and accessible, and it's just a lot easier to, you know, buy your own moto or take a moto or whatever. So those are kind of the things that I was talking about yesterday. And in that video also, I was talking about Pass App and Grab. They're much cheaper than a traditional tuk-tuk. If you get the tuk-tuks from Pass App or Grab, like they're called like rickshaws. They're run on liquid propane gas, which makes them cheaper because the fuel, I don't know if the fuel is cheaper or just much more efficient. One of the two, but either way, it costs much less to travel by than a regular standard tuk-tuk. And also the quality of life. I talk about this, or I have spoken about this in a number of other videos. It depends like what you're coming from. So I always compare it to America and for me. So when I was living in the US, I had some decent jobs, but they were never like very high paying jobs. And so for me to come here, I live a better standard of living than I was living in the US when I lived in the US. Now, if you're living in America, let's say you're making $60,000 a year, you're not going to come here as an English teacher and make $1,000 to $2,000 a month and live a better quality than if you're making maybe 60 grand in the US. But if you're making 20 to 30,000 in the US, you can come here and live at least as good, if not better. So it depends what you want or what you're looking for, that kind of stuff. Or, you know, what your life was prior to coming here. And I imagine that's the same, you know, whether you're coming from Australia or, you know, Europe or wherever you're coming from. You know, the quality of life may be better or worse depending on what your quality of life was like in your home country. For me, some of the benefits here are the climate. I love hot weather, warm, sunny weather. Most of the time here it's hot and sunny. They have rainy season, which then it's hot and mildly less hot and rainy and cloudy. But most of the year here is bright and sunny, and for me, a bright sunny day, like when I wake up in the morning, I see the sun come up and it's just out all day. Every time I go outside, the sun's out. I feel really good. So for me, that's like a really good thing about living here. I know people though that hate the heat, that when they come here, they yearn to go back to their climate. I had one friend from South Africa, and he would always say, like, you know, people always think because it's Africa, like South Africa is like hot all the time. But he's like, you know, we have legitimate winters. And he's like, I miss the winter so much. Like I miss, you know, the cold, cool air of the winter. So, you know, that depends on, for you guys, you know, just what your preference is. For me, it's perfect. I love the climate here. I lived in Florida for a few years in America. I lived in Central Florida. And for me, again, the climate there was very, very similar to here. And I really like the climate. It got colder there though. Central Florida would get cold a little bit. There were a few times when it got like right around freezing, and there were even a couple times where it got below freezing. We had like frost advisories and stuff. But either way, that kind of climate I really like. The people here are generally really friendly. If you're a foreigner and you're walking around, especially during like a holiday or something, people will just be sitting outside drinking beer, eating food, like hanging out, and they will just call you over, oh, come drink with us, have one beer, have a beer. You know, have some food, and they'll just give you things, and they're like a very open society, a very friendly, very, very friendly society overall. Obviously, there's individual people from, you know, everybody's different in every society. But generally speaking, they're very friendly. They always want to ask, you know, what are you doing? Where are you from? They're very curious about you, especially as a foreigner. Like, you know, where are the countries have you been to? They'll ask you all kinds of questions, and they're really, really nice, which I think is a positive thing. Sometimes I'm just trying to do my thing, and it's just like, oh, no, I can't, like, come be with you. I went with my fiance and one of another guy that I know here from the U.S. and a bunch of her Khmer friends. We went out to a little bit outside the city and had like a little party. And I was going out to buy beer, and I had to walk to the little cellar, to the little store to buy the beer. And when I was walking, this family's like, please come over. I'm like, I have my own party to go to, like I can't like come and hang out with you guys. But they're really friendly. So those are some of the good things. But that can also be a bad thing, again, if you're just trying to, you don't want to feel rude or you don't want to feel pressured to do something. They will pressure you to do things. If you're drinking with Khmer people, it's one of the most annoying things that I think. If you're drinking with Khmer people, like most countries or where I'm from, if you're drinking, you just drink your beer and hang out and talk to everybody. But with Khmer people, everybody has to drink at the same time. So if one person goes to drink, everybody goes, cho moi, which means like cheers. And you all have to cheers and drink, and you can't just do it at your own pace. If you're like, no, I'm good, like why are you drinking with us? Like, why don't you like us? Or the same on the opposite end, like I'll start drinking sometimes, I forget, and everybody's looking at me, I'm like, oh my god, yeah, cho moi. Like I just want to drink my beer and not be bothered with cho moing sometimes. So that can be a negative thing. But overall, man, like I've said this so many times, my honest assessment is, for me personally, I love living here. By far the best decision I've ever made in my life. My life here is it's just so much happier, and I have so much less stress and so much less anxiety. And I'm just so content, and not even content, but happy. I'm so happy with my life here. And I'm sure you could talk to other people that are not happy with their life. I'm sure you could find people that hate it here. A lot of that comes down to people's decisions, though. I've spoken about in videos before, man, it's really easy to get in trouble here. It's really easy to, you know, find a bad crowd and you know, everybody, you know, live your life, do whatever you want. I'm not one to tell people whatever. I'll give my advice as to here's why my life is good, and here's why I love my life here, and here's why I'm happy. But you know, I see people just get caught up in stuff, and then they're not happy with their life, but a lot of it is because of the situations they're putting themselves in, and the decisions that they're making and that kind of stuff. Again, I speak about it all the time too. I'm also one to feel that a lot of that is luck. A lot of people's situations is luck, but a lot of it is also what you do with your decisions and that kind of stuff. I also have some philosophical points about decisions and free will, that kind of stuff, but I'll save that for another video. Maybe I'll never talk about it, maybe I will, I don't know. But anyway, guys, this is going on like 13 minutes, so I want to keep this a little bit short. So again, that's a little bit of my take. Hope you guys are enjoying the beautiful scenery behind me. Again, I don't have the best view in Phnom Penh. I'm not in like some luxury condo, but I have a decent apartment with a decent view in a good part of town. And I don't know, guys, so that's some of the good and the bad about living in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Don't forget, if you have any other questions, whatever, hit me up on the Facebook. I'll leave the link for that in the description of the video, as well as my email. And a while ago, I was talking about getting linking a Snapchat with this, and I might go back to do that with the Snapchat account. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm really thinking about it. Anyway, new things come in, new things always pop in. I'm always trying to come up with new ideas. Some of them stick, some of them fade out because I either don't have time for them or I just decide it's not a good idea. But I'm always trying to evolve the channel a little bit. So this should be the next step in the evolution of the channel and what I'm doing here. All right, guys, this is Halfway, broadcasting from around the world in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. My fiance hears me always say, in phenomenal pen, and she goes, it's Phnom Penh, Phnom Penh. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I keep trying to explain to her. I'm like, phenomenal just means like really good. I was trying to do like a play on words. So this is Halfway, broadcasting from around the world, phenomenal Penh, Cambodia. Peace, guys. Easy.